Hello everyone, Sotius here, and today we are going to be talking gaming news as our usual Friday night podcast. With me is SaintBalmung. Here's your one and only chance to say hello.
Hi.
You did good, you did good. Promotion is in the far future. Okay, so first off, how was your week?
Very boring.
Yeah?
Boring indeed. There's not
Yeah,
much
like we were
going
just
on.
saying, there's like the sudden abyss of nothing between now and E3, and it's kind of disappointing. There's like indie games coming out all the time, but nothing that's really caught our attention so far. Anything that's really caught your attention, or you just I see you typing there. You're gonna tell me that I did something wrong?
No, well, anyway, not really. This week, we tried to make Warhammer work this week, but we can get into that later. That was going well in the beginning.
Yeah, we were having a lot of issues this week. A lot of technical issues.
Yeah, speedrunners. I was very impressed by speedrunners. I've seen a lot.
Yeah,
of
you liked it?
Yeah, I thought it was quite fun. Annoying as fuck at times, but very fun. Still. Oh, and then when we covered Final Station, I'm so glad that you.
Final Station was beautiful.
I'm so glad that
Hang
you.
on. I'm gonna turn down this music a
that
little bit.
was.
It's not loud, but it's noticeable. Yeah, Final Station was fantastic. Like, I was so surprised, and obviously I was kind of putting it off for like a week or whatever because I was a little bit unsure about it. I wanted you to play it first, and what the hell just happened to my camera? My camera just froze out a really
Awkward way.
yeah, really awkward way. There we go. I'm back. That was weird. Okay. Yeah, Final Station was great. Who's it by? It's not by Tiny
It's
Build.
being published by Tiny Build.
Yeah,
Let's
it's
see who's
published by
actually
Tiny Build, but it's by I think 2 other people or something. And the game is amazing. I mean, all we got was sort of like a pre-alpha or maybe it was a beta look at it. And what we saw was great. I mean, obvious first thoughts on that game was the English translations are pretty bad. And obviously some of the dialogue is missing as part of sort of being an early build. But other than that, the game played really well, and the whole sort of... I didn't really get too much into the story of the game, but it just seems you're sort of driving your train through all these locations, and you have to reach sort of this final stop, which is like a central hub. And the world's being destroyed in some form or another, and there's this weird shadowy type creatures slash infected humans, not quite sure exactly.
It seemed like it was caused by some sort of energy source, from what I gathered. Because remember the
Yeah, there was
NPC
those
talked
weird
about,
capsule things that just
yeah.
like appeared out of nowhere, and it was kind of bizarre. But no, overall, I love the game, and I'm 100% buying that game when it comes out. How about you?
For sure.